So I just entered the big 3-0 and I've just been kind of reflecting a little bit. My 20s were honestly a mess. And this decade I've learned a little too much. Some good lessons and some harsh lessons as well. And a lot of exciting things that happened. A lot of lessons that school can never teach you. But the school of life can. Not the YouTube channel, but actual life. Let's get into the first lesson. By being a quitter, I mean remove yourself in situations that don't align with you. Instead of being obligated to stay, jobs with coworkers and just not being a healthy work environment, college. Knowing you can teach yourself without a mountain debt. Relationships that were one-sided or filled with non-stop conflict. Projects that provide no ROI. And uncomfortable situations. Staying longer than I should have caused me so much pain in many instances where I just kind of ignored my gut that I needed to leave a lot sooner than I should have. A good indication is that feeling of not living up to your potential or having conversations with somebody and being extremely drained. How does your brain and body feel after? Do you have a headache or do you just feel really tired? And I'm not talking about the normal fatigue that people go to, but sort of like a dreadful like, hey, I think I need to get the fuck out. I think it's time. Now, when you do want to leave, there might be some pushback from loved ones and even your parents. Some people would say to tough it out or kind of go through it. And there's a lot of instances where that is applicable, for sure. There's a lot of instances where that does bode well, bode right, but there might be a gut feeling that, hey, this isn't for me. At the end of the day, it's your call. It's easier said than done. Sometimes you can't just get up and leave, so let's make a game plan and try. This is your call to respect yourself, and you might need to just walk away. Even if you close the door yourself, another door will open. Stress management is crucial. In the previous lesson, we talked about quitting your environment and situations if they're toxic to you. Quitting is a part of stress management. 1,000 cuts of expectations, of problem issues, even minute or small, can add up. It's important to take audit of a lot of these. And just because you're young doesn't really mean you're immune to stress. Not at all. Here's a great analogy. So a frog is in a pot of water on a stovetop. You crank up the temperature little by little. This frog doesn't notice this increase in heat, even so slightly. By the time the water boils, the frog is already cooked. And I'm pretty sure you felt this way like the frog. You and I have probably been burned out from school, work, a lot of things. It gets to a point where your body doesn't respond in kind and you get headaches, stomach problems, random body aches, and then it gets kind of extreme if you don't deal with it. Sometimes I had burning skin, occasionally I had like brain zaps. Make no mistake, I'm not a doctor, but I'm willing to bet that this will cause stress-related diseases when you're much older. Do some research of how dangerous stress can actually be. So try not to stress out about that though. So take a breather, chill out. Kanye West said, money isn't everything, but when you don't have enough, it becomes everything. In my 20s, it was just a lot of mental battles, but turns out I was just really broke. Are you broken or are you broke? What I'm trying to say is to shift the blame on yourself and realize how much of this mental RAM is being used up in your brain. You're so caught up with surviving, it takes away from taking care of yourself, from being empathetic, a whole bunch of things that could benefit your life for the better. But all that energy and efforts is spent surviving in a survival state. Remember that. Yes, a lot of the times your drive can be sapped away, leaving your dreams and your goals just further and further away. And this scared the shit out of me because I've always felt like I was running out of time. this cycle of doom creates this sense of insecurity or lack of foundation in your life. And yeah, that's a tough thing to deal with. A lot of confidence is learned, but you'd be surprised of how much it's actually earned. Having enough money enables you to leave. Having enough money enables you to quit and leave your shitty situation, but it also helps you afford the resources and tools to get better. So be kind to yourself. Be proactive in any way you can to be stable monetarily. So before you think you're in the dumps, check your bank account. A negative bank account can contribute to negative thinking, right? So save, get that cheddar, learn great finances, and get your bags up. And get a good job. I need to get a good job. Someone hire me. Bad things will just happen, but so does the good things. Now, if you're deep in the gutter, the thing is with anxiety and all these what ifs is that you assume that there's an immediate threat that you need to get rid of. Some way, somehow. Something is gonna crash any second now. Anything. Like, damn. That's what these what ifs tell you. Here's the truth. I'm a professional anxiety warrior. I'm always in my head. And all the things that I do worry about, 90% of the time, it doesn't really come true. 10%, yes, there is valid things to probably worry about. But from my experience, if the bad things come, it'll just happen. It'll just happen. Something will blindside you from all areas. Whatever can happen will happen. But it doesn't pertain to just the bad things in life. We forget that in our negative bias, that good things can happen just as often as bad things. And that can also blindside you in many, many ways. There might be times and periods where things will go your way into an absurd level of luck. It has happened to me. I got into my dream job. I thought I was gonna get there when I'm in my late 30s. But to my surprise, it happened when I least expected. Or when you meet somebody, sometimes you think you're gonna be alone forever. But a day after, you might just kind of bump into somebody or match with the right person or talk to the right, barista or whatever. So keep that in mind when things don't really go your way. And trust me, I know a thing or two about that. Learn how to forgive yourself. If only I did this right or that right. How could I say it like that? I'm such a fuck up. That's so embarrassing. Blah, 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 blah. But here's the truth. You're human. And as a human, we all make mistakes. I've made plenty of mistakes, and it's inevitable. There's no such thing as perfection. You feel like punishing yourself can undo that wrong, give you relief, but it only yields more pain. That's probably the lesson of this lesson. Those thoughts come up like pop-ups. Don't let those mistakes, situations plague the present moment. And don't let punishing yourself and guilt be in the way of the peace that you deserve now. And that will be the thing I would tell my younger self. So cheers. Have a magical day.